Lama Dangum Poje Tsunyan Peyang La Chatselo Gangi Lo Chu Jibni Jinta Nidare Namda Rabzawe Jine Dungu Nijin Zichi Niki Tuka Levam Zi Kanda Zipe Tsundrar Mari Muntom Dunga Jisiru Rozo Kunla Buchi Tarze Yenla Chuchu Yanden Rotare Cherdo Nyunmo Nilong Leki Chadro Jose Chik Mari Munze Dunga Nyugo Jinye Juse Radina Dune Dajin Zachi Tarzun Yunten Luzo Yase Tuku Chudan 去你见这大日暮色将北洋拉住，我马拉巴萨那滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴，我马拉巴萨那滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴，我马拉巴萨那滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴滴。Om Arapatana Tit Seten Cheki Chenra Puseki Dalu Timu Munpa Rabzal Kadan Tenchu Yunu Topai Lodru Pope Nangwa Zeldu So Ganze Tawar Dupam Chunze Diwar Dunayam Gompo Jamyan Jenini Deme Paraya Dongwa Show. Okay, welcome to our class. So today we're going to start by checking out this present from Federico. So let's see. Oh, basically starting as the spelling. So like we know these particles depend on will depend on the letter of the suffix of the previous syllable. So these are the ending particles. Remember that they don't have any meaning, but they're just O, an O kind of sound. These are the ladon, which we remember there's 7 of them. The possessive particle, which in the book they call this actually connective particle because they don't always imply possession. That's one of the things they could imply, but they could be something else. Instrumental, this ing particle. I think this is more, is this a classical or a colloquial book, by the way, Federico, do you know? Oh, is this reader? Oh, actually, I have this reader also. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is they have some, actually, that reader is really good. They have some texts, right? And then they give you all the words. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
yeah. It's really good, actually. It's really good. It does your work for you in a way, so you can focus on the grammar because they give you all the words. In our case, I'll make you work for the words. Uh, this is the concessive particle, I think we call it. I forget the name. This particle we're going to cover also in this coming chapter. This is actually the last thing we're going to learn from this book. Continue.
Chuck,
Yes.
I just want to say at the top, I just noticed they say here api, and the fifth column is iti. Those are Sanskrit words. Api means it's a like emphasis, but it's equivalent to also.
Oh, okay.
And
Also, yeah,
iti was the thing
the
that
quotation,
makes
right?
quotation marks. Yeah.
Et, yeah, that's quotation. These are also continuation questions, the imperative. China, if one asks. Yeah, this is very good, especially for knowing it's good to know the spelling in case we find ourselves having to write in Tibetan. I usually don't write in Tibetan, but for example, I'm organizing this Nepal retreat for Lama Karma, and I had to write the uh, itinerary in Tibetan for him, you know. Then I wrote it in really nice, like classical-ish Tibetan. I think he was happy, I think. Um, what is the title of this book, by the way? I think Zandy is asking. I think it's just classical reader, I think, right?
I'm typing it in. In a second, I will have it.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'll share our usual book in the meantime. So we're about to finish this book, guys. We worked hard on this. Now it's almost finished. We covered, just to recap, we covered the auxiliary particles. Just I'm sorry, auxiliary verbs. You just add a little bit of extra meaning. In English, this is the equivalent of to need to do, to have to do, um, to want to do. You know, there's two verbs there, so it's something like that in Tibetan also. Except for your actually is more like tells you what tense it is if the tense happens to be unclear. And then we covered this. This is very important, by the way. This J verb. Um, we covered this, and then we are covering now the usages. The uses actually go over. These are really important verbs. Nuba. Nu is to be able to do. In colloquial Tibetan, we would use tu instead of nu. Nu is classical. Like nga do, nga do, I go. Nga do tup is I can. Nga do tupki, I can go. I'm able to go. That would be called colloquial Tibetan. Go, go is also very much used in colloquial to the wrong see the possibility we were talking about possibilities. I forget uh, when I mentioned it. Oh, I think in Corsi. Anyways, this is, oh, now we were working on this, the verbal usages of particles. So basically what we are learning now is that, yeah, we have studied all these particles and we just actually, Federico shared this chart with us, but these are usually called the nominal uses. There is also, the particles will behave differently if they're after verbs. So it's important to keep an eye on not just what the particle is, but what is the particle after. So we learned that the connective particle, if it's after a verb, it means contradiction. So, but however, nevertheless, then we'll just do one example. Chukun mi takpa in gi takpar zin. So all phenomena are mitakpa, impermanent. Gi, after the verb in, takpar zin, we grasp. Zin is to grasp. Here they say take to, also okay, I guess. Zin, and this ladon is as takpa, as permanent. So you can see how this gi actually functions as but in this case, because it follows after a verb. We also covered kyang, yang, and ang. This actually is the same meaning as the meaning doesn't change. It's also a bad, however, even though, but it has the same function as if it was happening after a noun. So this is not surprise, no surprise here. Agentive particle, the agentive, we learned that it has a few different usages. Who remembers the uses of the agentive particle? Maybe Kip remembers, I guess. Do you remember Kip? Normally, what would you?
Uh, yeah, so I mean, just by reference to the book, so it's the agent of a tate verb or the subject of a kamade verb of perception is the
Yeah.
first usage, and then the second usage is the instrument of an action, and the third usage is an adverb.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's good. There are a couple more. I think I shared this cool little chart I made. Do you guys have that chart? Yeah, that you can check there. There's a couple more, but in essence, you can think of those three. Those three are the main ones. And now this one is also quite important one. Now, if it's after, these are the nominal uses that Kip just described for us. So these are now the verbal usages. Basically, it's just a reason because, therefore, since, by. So if the agentive particle comes after, if the agentive particle comes after uh, after a verb, then this is the meaning. Should we do one example? I guess let's do a short one. Sanjay Jikten du Junpei Juten. Sanjay is um, the subject. Jikten du is the place in the world or in the universe. By the way, Jikten, literally, Jik is this destruction. Ten is the basis. Jikten we translate as world or universe, but it literally means the basis of destruction because it's going to get destroyed by seven fires, etc. at the end of the kalpa. It's kind of a interesting way to name the world. Sanje Jikten Du, the ladon in the Jikten. Jun Pe, Jun is to come. Pe, this is the reasoning. Jun Pe by coming or because of coming. Chuten, taught Dharma. So the agent is telling us the reason of Buddha coming to the world. Is that clear? Yeah. Now another particle chir. This, for example, is in our refuge prayer. Sanjie Chetan Tsoki Chongnam La Chanchu Pardon Tani Jep Suchi Tagi Jinso Jipes Nam Tagi Jinso Jipes Dola Penchir. Dola Penchir. Dola Penchir for like the sake of Dola Pen benefiting Dola, the sentient beings. Dola Penchir for that Sanjay Druparshok. May I or may we attain Buddhahood. So this chir usually it has this before a verb plus pa. But basically it's just telling you the reason or the purpose of something. It's a little bit similar actually to this previous one in terms of their function of the agentive particle after the verb.
Can I raise a question here?
Sure.
So this is at the end of this first paragraph here under number 4. It says it identifies these 3 connective particles. So it's just those 3 because there's 5 of them. So I mean, it's only going to be is it any connective particle or just those?
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused. Where did we
At
read?
the first paragraph here under number 4,
This one?
it says it is usually connected to the previous verb in the infinitive form by a connective particle.
Yes.
And then it
You.
identifies, is it connected by any connective particle or just the ones that are listed there?
I've only seen these 2 actually, na and tu, like chirna here, chirna and chirtu, or just chir by itself. And it don't also notice that it says usually, because sometimes also is by itself. It won't always take that. It won't always take that connective particle, extra connective particle. It's I've seen these 2 only. It says usually connected by the previous. Yeah, I think it's these 2 only. That's all I can think of. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So it indicates but when these particles are there, the meaning is a little bit more clear. So chirna always indicates reason, whereas chirtu indicates the purpose. So basically you can think of it as because, therefore, in order to, but this particle is very contextual. Just when you read, you have to see which is the reason for what. Let's do 1 or 2. Kong ni leloyin pechir la metamak la mien. Lelo is lazy. So Kongi, because he's lazy, he does not listen to the oral instructions of the Lama. Or since he is lazy. So in this case, it's Chir. He's giving us the reasoning. This is the almost like a cause and effect you can think of. Because of this, then he doesn't do this.
I just want to know for the, oh, go ahead.
You can go first, Kip.
No, I was just going to say that sentence would be more accurate if he was replaced with Kip.
Well, I'm going to
Okay, I'm done.
forward. I'm gonna forward your name to the next edition of the book.
My question is, I think I didn't quite grasp what the in this sentence there's yin bei and then cheered, and it seems what is the bei doing there? Is that the infinitive form of yin?
Actually,
Or
the pay is here because Cheer needs a friend.
oh, okay.
Yeah, not always, but here the formula is here. Verb plus pay or way plus cheer.
Huh.
It's just the formula.
Okay, so
So yin is the verb, pay, cheer.
okay.
But it doesn't, it's not always there. Usually it's there, but for example, in this prayer that I just recited, the refuge prayer that we all know, there is also a cheer there without a bug, a pay before. So it's not always, but sometimes. So basically, it makes sense because you can think of it because of being lazy. Being is you can think of being as the um, nominalized verb, a nominalized form of the verb. Being, the being. So
Uh-huh.
because of being lazy, he doesn't listen to the lama's instructions.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Mhm. Yeah, but basically it's just a formula. We can try another one. Semchen la pen pe chir tap dan sherap ni göso. So this would be more like in order to just you have to get this by context, by the way. There is chir is a little bit it's not like an exact formula to it. But for example, we have Semchen la penpa, like to benefit sentient beings. Then we have Taptan Sherab Nigo. Someone needs both tap and Sherab, method and wisdom. So then you can infer, okay, in order to benefit sentient beings, one needs both method and wisdom. She is giving you the reason because or since, or it can tell you in order to. Those are the two ways it will work. Is that okay? Is that clear? For cheer, we just have to practice it and it will come clear. We can do one more. Namieng pang with cheer do when pa ne par chao. Namieng is distractions. By the way, when Lama Karma teaches, he uses this word a lot, but he just says yang. He doesn't say Namieng. Yang Yankide. He uses it as a verb, you know. You can use it as a verb. Yang is like you're distracted. Nam yang, pang is to abandon. Pang with chir do. So in order to, if there's a do, is usually in order to, chir do. When par. Remember when there is a dao followed by a ba, it becomes way. Or the wa, but because there's a tempo is way. When like wang, for example, is the same spelling. When par, this is a very used word. When par ne para chao, to abide. So in order to abandon distractions, namyang pang with chir tu, one must stay in solitary retreat. When par ne par chao, one. This is we just learned this future form of to do. When it's attached by a par to a verb, it's something that must be done or should be done. It's a future form of to do. When par ne par chao, one needs to nepa in the wenpa, in the remote solitary place. Is that clear? Yeah.
Sorry, what was Nepa?
Nepa is like jine, to
Okay.
abide.
Okay.
There's a ne from jine. It means to abide, to reside, to stay. Here they translated as stay. Ne also, I'm pretty sure this is the same spelling. Ne can also mean like in Nekor, pilgrimage place. A sacred site can be also called a ne. Like if I'm talking to a Tibetan and he tell me, oh, I went on pilgrimage. I said, oh, which ne did you visit? I'm pretty sure it's the same spelling. Yeah. So that's it for cheer. That's it for cheer for now. Basically, it's in order to or because. Okay. So this is a fourth verbal usage of particles we have learned so far. As for the fifth, dang. again, it's the same. Actually, there's nothing special about Tang. It's just and as. Basically, it's just telling you that there's a continuation. Tawe lama dempa tang mugu so. You can say as one remembers, but it's not necessarily. You can say like remembering the root lama, then mugu the devotion arose. I think Tang is pretty intuitive. It's not that difficult. La meshala chatsalwa tang Jesu yirango. La meshala chatsalwa, the prostration to the feet of the Lama, and rejoicing. Jesu yirang. Tang, and then this sixth one is basically the same as Tang. It's just telling you that there is a continuation. The spelling will differ based on, again, the suffix of the previous syllable. It's
I have a quick
basically,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
How did you pronounce the word for feet in the section above? Can't see it anymore, but in
Oh, let's see. Shab.
shab. Oh,
Shab.
okay. I just didn't hear it clearly, and
Yeah.
it sounded different.
Shab. Where is this? Oh, here. And of
Yeah,
course,
that one.
that's honorific
Shab.
honorific form of feet. Shab. Shab. The normally is kangpa. The Tibetans have the same word for feet and leg. So you don't know if they say kangpa nagidu. You don't know if their foot or their leg hurts. And this is another reason why it's important to know the aspirated versus non-aspirated. If you say kangpa, it means leg or foot. If you say kangpa, is a house or a building. So important to pronounce. But jab, this is all over the prayers, or shabla chatsalo, on so many prayers I can think of now. Or lamagi shabla chatsalo, or in the prayer for the long life of the Lama also. They say, oh, may the shab of the Lama remain firm. These kind of things. Okay, the sixth one, Jing, Jing, and Xing. Basically, they just, it's like an and. It's an and, actually. Nothing really special there. Kongi, Lama la chopa bul, Jing, chaksalo. So Kongi, he connected agentive particle. He did something. He chopped the bull and he chucks a lot to the llama. To the llama. Jing is just an end. This is quite easy, quite an easy one. Here it tells you the rules for spelling. Semchen Gungi, Tsutim, Zung, Jing, Sopa Gom Par Chao. So the Semchen Gungi, all the sentient beings, Tsutim Sung, should notice how this parchao applies to both sung and to gom, to soba gom. This is also something to keep in mind when doing these translations. Should guard their discipline. Parchao sung is applying to this sung, and also they should cultivate patience. Soba gom. But here the jing is the main thing, and it just means and.
And I think, yeah, that point is explained in footnote 120, I think.
Uh, yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Good observation is right here. So sometimes these functions go back to different verbs, and also the subject can also be divided to many actions in the sentence in Tibetan. So it's always good to look at the whole sentence and see all the uh, interdependence of the elements. Anyhow, that's Jing. Dang and Jing are basically the same. The source particle. The source particle, I find it quite interesting. Is a temporal sequence of events. So the one rule to keep in mind, if ne is used, you don't need this pa connecting the verb, but if you use le, you need to have a pa to connect the verb. That's just one rule to keep in mind. So it just tells you that something happened after something. For the most part, sometimes it can also mean simultaneity, but for the most part, it's sequential. For example, Nejung Jula Tiene Changsem Tie Para Chao. Nejung is so-called renunciation, but now we know this is a bad translation. Nge Pala Jung. Nge is certainty, Jung is to arise. The arising of certainty, translated as renunciation. Ju is your, Ju literally means continuum. Like Tantra also means Ju, for example. Tantra means a continuum. But in this context, usually in this context, Ju means the mind continuum. In this case, it means the continuum. So Ngejung, Jula in the mind stream, in the mind continuum. Tiene, from, you can think of it as from also, from or by or after. Ngejung arises in the mind. Changsem, Chiepar Chao. Changsem is Changchukisem. Changsem is a contraction of Changchukisem of bodhicitta. Changsem. Changsem, Kiepar Chao. Notice how this spelling is the spelling of a tade, and this is a tamide. They're both the same verbs, but this is a tamide, meaning that somehow you meditated in. This is like a subtle meaning based on understanding whether the verb is tade or tamide. So somehow, because you meditated, maybe you meditated on death and suffering. So then Ngejung Kie, like it arose by itself. But after that, you have to give rise to bodhicitta. Like this Kie is a tade, so you are doing it. So after somehow you meditated on your four thoughts and you gave rise to Ngejung, then you have to give rise to Jangjungism, Jangsem, to bodhicitta. So this is a good example also on how like the Tade and Tamide verbs give you this extra information, you know. I didn't know this for a long time. I was confused when I was learning Tibetan. Nobody told me this. I thought I could look up in the dictionary, and I was confused. But now I can see. So Sering Tang Sonnam Lakang La Chingne Lama Rinpoche La Chatsalo. Sering Dan Sonnam Lakang La Chingne, by or after going to the Lakang, these two guys, then they prostrated to Rinpoche, to the Lama Rinpoche. this is the main point here, that this ne means a sequence of events. Is this clear? I think it's also quite easy. Like I said, they can also sometimes they also mean simultaneity. I find this confusing that they can mean both simultaneity or sequential. It's like almost like two different opposite things, but what to do? Yeah, then you can translate it as ing. 밤의 동날 전에 닝제제소. So by remembering the suffering of our parents, compassion arose. I feel like, yeah, but I feel like it can also be sequential, you know. I don't know. What
I
do
was
you
going
guys
to
think?
say, isn't that the case that even during the so-called simultaneity, like here, the first action has started before the second action, although it's ongoing. You see,
Yeah.
he started remembering is still ongoing, and only then the compassion was born.
So they're like this, like
Yeah.
there's this place where they meet.
So essentially, the commonality is when the second action starts with respect to when the first action starts, and everything else is could be, you know,
Yeah.
it could be ongoing or not, but it doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't change the thing.
So it's like this or maybe like this. Something like that, I guess, right?
Well, it's either like this or like this. So the first action might have stopped or might continue, but it is before the second action has started.
Yeah, I get. That's a good point. That's a good way to think about it, actually. Thank you, Federico. That's actually clearing all even for me. Tujiche. You guys know Tujiche? Tujiche. Tujiche is thank you. But if you say to the Lama, you have to say Kanjinche, because it's the more like respectful form of thank you. If you're in Bhutan, you also have to say Kanjinche. They don't use Tujiche there. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Now I can conceptualize it better. Thank you. Any questions about this seventh one? It's good. Eighth one is the ladun. So what does la do? It's and or a comma or a period. If it comes after the verb. So korwana tungal kona la dewa tenpo medo in korwa in samsara only there's only suffering. Tungal kona yuna. La, this is the key here. Dewa tenpo medo. Dewa is not, there's no stable happiness. So it's just basically functioning as a comma or an and, this la. Because it comes after the verb, right? Verb plus la. Okay. So just the key thing to keep in mind here is the key thing to keep in mind in all of these is check out where the particle is, if it's coming after the verb or after the noun. So one more. Value 2 in Nepal. Songla. Somebody went or goes to Nepal. 장샘 지혜칙 and 지혜칙, this is the imperative, give rise to bodhicitta. Go to Nepal and give rise to bodhicitta. And give rise to bodhicitta. And if it's verb plus par, because this is also a ladon, then it's a simultaneous. So it goes from sequential to simultaneity. Pakpe Denpa Ji, the Four Noble Truths. Pakpa is Arya, Denpa is truth, Ji is four. Pakpa Denpa Ji, Mishe Par, not knowing. Tokmene, beginning less. Tokma is beginning. Tokme is beginning less. From beginning less time. Korwarkyam, one wanders in samsara. Pakpat MPG Mishepar. No, this is you can say not like while not knowing the Four Noble Truths. One wanders in samsara.
Daniel,
Yes.
can you just scroll back up to the very bottom of page 106? Yeah, that last sentence, it says the verb is usually negated, but we're talking about two verbs. And so which is it, which verb of the two?
Let me read. This indicates that the action of the two verbs simultaneously can be translated by a particle. Yes. The verb is
And then it
usually
says
negated.
this verb is usually negated, or the verb is usually negated.
Oh, here's the negation. The not knowing. You're not knowing
Okay.
the four truths by Mishepar, right? And this is the function of the this is the ladon, the par. Mishepar. Is that okay?
Yeah, so I guess it seems like then at the bottom of page 1.6, it should say, I mean, the verb preceding the particle is usually negated.
Yeah, that's what they mean. The verb, because this is the function verb plus particle, right? The formula is here.
Thank you.
Yeah, verb plus particle, so they mean this verb.
Thank you.
And notice it says usually, meaning that there will also be exceptions. So we have long sentences about what to do. Sanjeki tenpa lomangpor matepar. This is our form. Gewe shenyen gi jinlapjuk. So Sanjeki tenpa, the teachings of the Buddha. Lomangpor is many years, in many years. Matepar, to is to hear. To samgom sum, hearing, contemplation, and meditation. Matopar. Gewe shenyen is the spiritual friend. Gi jinlap juk. Juk is to engage into, and here they translated as receive. So one receives the blessings of the spiritual friend without having, this is they're translated as ing, listen to the teachings of Buddha for many years. There might be a little bit too many new words here, but does this make sense? Yeah. There's translating this as ing to indicate simultaneity. Okay, so that's the la. We have so far we have covered two uses of ladon, and or comma, par, which is a simultaneity, verb plus par. Now the third one is verb plus pala, which indicates purpose or in order to. Sedi jasak dorwala ngejun jula kepar chao. So to abandon is dor, like lang dor. They say sometimes lang is what to take and what to abandon. So in this life, in the activities, jasak, the worldly activities, dorwala, in order to abandon the worldly activities of this life, sedi jasak dorwala, in order to, this is the key here, ngejun jula, again renunciation in the mainstream, keparjao, one needs to give rise to ngejung in one's mind's continuum. In order to, this is the wala, torwala, in order to. Is that clear? Yeah. Ngejung, this is a similar one. Again, ngejung, gyula, kiebala, this is what we're looking to give, in order to give rise to ngejun in the mainstream. Pitakpa komparchao, one needs to meditate on impermanence. This is good. This will come handy when we are reading texts. It's telling us what to do, right? These are instructional manuals. It's telling us, oh, in order to do this, you have to do that, basically. And now the last particle, I think it's the last one. Yeah, the last particle on this section is the conditional particle. Basically, it means if. It can also mean when, if/when. The conditional particle indicates a temporal or conditional relation. So sometimes it is preceded by this, if it's going to be translated as condition, kelte or kelsi. This is just to make it clear from the beginning of the sentence. You would put this before the sentence because the na goes at the end. So it just helps to, you're giving the listener, you're letting the listener know, oh, I want to say if gelte meyona, so if or suppose, like meyona, if there is fire, dua jungwar juro, do I smoke, jungwar jur will arise. So suppose like if there is fire, let's say there is fire, then smoke will arise. Dua jungwar juro. Gelte or gelsi. Gelsi is used in colloquial sometimes. If you're telling your friend, oh, what if this happens? What if, suppose I go to Kathmandu, like, then I will do this, you know. Gelsi nang paina, yenla no par mi jao. So if one is Nangpa Buddhist, Shenlan no parmi jao. One should not harm others. Yeah, I mean, it just means if there's not much, nothing complicated. It just means if Nima Sharwana, if the sun rose, na lamdu shuk, so and engage the path. One entered the path, past tense actually. And yes, that's the 9 usages. So we have covered 9 different usages of the conditional, I'm sorry, of the verbal usages of particles. Next class, we're going to cover this continuative particle. And I think that's it with this book. Yes, actually, maybe why don't we do it now? Because then you guys can do your homework. Yeah, we can do it. Okay. Zan wants to do his homework, it seems. Zan owes me every homework so far, by the way. So, basically, okay, just very briefly, it just means that something will come after. That's it. There's nothing complex here. Again, this depends on the spelling. I'm sorry, the spelling depends on the previous, the last letter of the last syllable of the previous syllable. So temporal sequence or succession. So it's basically the same as verb plus ne. You can think of it like that. It's like another version of ne. Tape, the monks, tape, gom, te. So if I'm reading it and I see this te, I know, okay, something is coming which is connected to that previous idea, That's basically what this is the red flag here is, okay, I see one of these particles here, then I see, okay, something is coming connected to the previous idea. That's the feeling. Tape gomte. Then I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? Jindag gonpar chino. So the Jindak is the sponsor, the benefactor. Gonpar to the monastery chino. So while the monks meditated, or while the monk was meditating, the benefactor went to the monastery, or the monk having meditated, the benefactor went to the monastery. It's just connecting these two ideas, but it doesn't have meaning in and of itself. It's always relying on just as functions as connecting, as all the particles do, of course. No, the particles don't really have any meaning by themselves. Tsokijin, Shin Mikte, Chapabulo, Tsokijin Mik, to focus, Mikpache can be to focus or to visualize also. Tsokijin Mikte, so the field of accumulation. In the Ngondro, we visualize the Tsokishin. Like, what is the Tsokishin? What is the field of accumulation? The field that you're using to accumulate your Ngondro. Mikte, one visualizes. Chopabuno, and makes offerings. This is a continuity particle. Changsen, Chamsen de doe, donse do. Having giving rise to bodhicitta, one accomplishes the benefit of beings. It says that so it also introduces further clarification. So you can also use a semicolon or colon to mark it. Ngondro ni te. So there's two ngondros. Tunmong and Tunmong Mayimpe are the two ngondros, the common and the uncommon. So basically there are two ngondros, and then this is telling you, it's going to tell you something extra. And there is the two ngondros are the Tunmong and the Tunmong Mayimpe. Ngondro, just giving you a little bit more extra info for the clarification. And the last one is for the syllogisms, actually. I don't know if you guys are familiar with syllogism. It's basically for formal debate. When the monks debate, they follow a formula of syllogisms. So this continuative particle marks the first idea of the syllogism, which is then ended with chir, which we just learned also, which is telling the reasoning. So chotamche mitakpainte. So all phenomena are impermanent because they are compounded in pechir. So this is the te. The te is dividing the two. If you're debating in a monastery, then you have to use this te to mark the end of the first idea before you give the reasoning. And then when you give the reasoning, you say chir, impe chir. It's a formula. We don't have to worry about this. But just know that this is the syllogism needs to have a particular formula, and in that formula this is present. This debate is really interesting, actually. It's a really interesting practice. They have really cool rules, and it's very structured. It's not that you can just come and debate, you have to follow these rules, and it's good. De, in this case, this is the continuative particle. De dua yopechir. So there is fire on the mountain because there is smoke. This is the classic Buddhist argument of Brahmana, of Sema, which is saying inference versus direct experience. Because you're inferring, because you see the smoke, you're inferring that there is fire. This is the classic example in all the texts. And having said that, please, we have reached our homework just in time. Now, I think this is our last homework for this book. Yeah, just do the Tibetan, and then I just want to see what's next. Oh, then here's some cheat sheets. Different ladons. These you can use to memorize. Then, is that it? Did we finish this book? Okay, it seems maybe we finished this book, I guess. I will look into it. Maybe I'll just say a couple more things, and then if this is over, I will start with the translation, translating a text. Okay. Are there any questions?
Are you thinking of a particular text already or not yet?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Heart Sutra actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Heart Sutra. That's the usually that's the book. They at Ranju Jeshe, they do in this after they do this book, they would do the Heart Sutra and also a section from the Dapotarjin, the Jewel Ornament of Liberation from Kampopa.
Mhm.
I think one of those two. Yeah. Let's see which one. Because we cannot go too crazy yet, you know. Yeah, we have to practice this easier text and then later another one that they do in the following semester, like the next year, they usually do the Chakchung Manlam, the aspiration prayer of Mahamudra by the third Karmapa.
And
Yeah,
Daniel, I just want to thank you again. I mean, just to think about where we started, quite frankly, not that long ago. I mean, I would have
Yeah,
said at
yeah,
this
yeah, I
point,
agree.
I would have said at this point, if we were dealing with things like there is an apple, that would have been amazing to me. But to look at, but to actually look at this now, it's just you've taken us incredibly far, and it's just really cool. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying I understand. I'm not saying I understand 1% of it, but I also don't feel totally lost. I mean, I feel like I can
Yeah,
go
yeah,
back.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, your
So it's
homework is
great.
good. Your understanding, I can tell by your translation. I can tell you're getting it, you know. Actually, I was talking to my father yesterday, and I was telling him, "Oh, I'm teaching this class, and like, yeah, these guys." And he's, "Oh, are you?" I told him, "Oh, we've been studying for 3 months." And he's like, "Oh, can they already read? Are they able to read a little bit?" I was, of
This was
course,
the initial goal,
yeah.
right?
I should tell them they're translating the Heart Sutra now. You know?
Yeah, yeah, right.
No, but it's good. It's good. Sometimes it's better not to go too much into detail. I mean, this is what this guy Steve Kaufman also says. Don't go so much into the detail. Just run a
Mhm.
little bit, and then you can look back, review. It's also more fun, you know. But you guys are doing great. Also, of course, you guys are the survivors, right? A few before there were more people.
Yeah,
Now
I know how it goes. That I was in a Sanskrit class that started with, I don't know, like 60 people, and then it went down gradually to
yeah,
6 or 8 or
sure.
something like this.
Yeah. I was telling that to my dad yesterday also, and he told me, actually, my father's father migrated from Germany to Peru, you know,
Oh,
and he was telling me that when he went to Peru because he had learned Spanish in Germany somehow, and
uh-huh.
at that time Peru's economy was not so bad, and like he had found some work there. He was telling me he's my grandpa. I never met him because he passed away before I was born, but he said he had a class. In his class there were 40 people studying Spanish and only 4 finished the class. Yeah. So it's like that, guys. But you guys have proven your worth.
Just out of curiosity, when did they emigrated?
I,
Immigrated?
I guess I guess in the 40s. Actually, what I understand is that my grandfather's house got bombed during the war, you know.
Mhm.
He had another family, actually. He had another wife and kids, and they all passed away.
Hmm.
So he decided to go, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. He said he just wanted to leave. He wasn't happy, you know, so he left. Yeah.
Yeah, makes
But
sense.
it was during the war.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. Tough times.
Mhm.
Yeah. By the way, actually I'm gonna stop this recording and then I'll tell you guys something.